All right, class. So now we're going to talk about, and I say we're going to talk about, but I'm going to go ahead and go to my oscilloscope lab here. I'm going to look at question number 6, and let's look at the Tektronix oscilloscope again. And so we're being asked to, and let me just do it on the laptop here. We're being asked to review the front panel controls of each of the 4 major groups. So if I just pull this back over, you'll see the 4 major groups are going to be right here. Again, vertical section, our display, our horizontal section, and our trigger. And we want to make sure that I'm into the lab so I can follow the instructions. But we want to set our lab or our oscilloscope to have a certain amount of voltage. So we want 200 volts per division. And so if we had the knob here, we would just control our volts per division here. And you can see channel 1. It's right here. So I can control that. And let me see. It is saying for question number 5, we're going to set our oscilloscope. We're going to set channel 1 to 100 microseconds. So here we have our seconds, or our time domain is 2 milliseconds here. We want to change that to 100 microseconds. So let me see if we can achieve that by turning this around. Let's see. Let me let that go. That's 2. Doesn't seem to be responding. I'm positive. We want microseconds, so that's femto. And this is the position. What am I thinking? We put that back at 0. This is the seconds per division, so I can control it right here. So that's 100 milliseconds. That's 1 second. Let's go back down. 100, 1 millisecond. So we want 100. That's nanoseconds. We want to go back up. And this is going to be, again, 100 nanoseconds. That's too small. We have 100, 1, 2, 3. Okay. There it is, 100 microseconds. So that's what we're asking in the first portion of the procedure. So we're going to make our, if we can do that in our on our iPad, that's fine. But it may be superfluous because the iPad may just go and find this. Let's see. And then it says turn your power supply on to your digital multimeter. And we're going to set the output for 1 volt. And so I can just go ahead and minimize that, and I can bring a multimeter out. And let's see, we need a power supply here as well. Okay, so we know that we have our power supply here, and we know that we need this to be set at 1 volt. So I'm just changing that. And of course we can do the same thing on the iPad. Just a little bit different. So 1 volt is going to be set by the digital multimeter. Let me see. It's basically going to just come around to itself. That doesn't make sense to me though. And the way I'm setting up the digital multimeter doesn't make sense as well. So let me see if I can pop this on here, on this side. Oh.
That was you?
Oh, let me go back. That's my grandson.
Oh, Lord.
tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
This party is Saturday.
Could be one.
So I'm trying to push this, but it appears as though I need some kind of resistor in here, which is fine.
Oh. He in Texas or he here?
No, he
He
here.
here.
And he got
So I'll do that.
Oh, okay. Okay, that's your daughters or your
My
son?
son.
Your son.
Mm-hmm.
How old is your son?
19.
19. Oh,
So I'll just drop this in here and I'll close it. Then I'll go ahead and run it and double click on here, and you'll see that we have 1 volt right here. Okay, so we'll try to achieve the same thing with our iPad. So as you can see, here's the iPad. I'm bringing this up right now. This is going to be, here's our eye circuit.
I mean, not, but I mean, at the time, that was too early for me. That kid at 15, that was too early for me. 15 to 16, that was too early.
All right, so
I ain't mean like that. I didn't sound like that, but.
instead of us having this, let's just go back and let's just create a new circuit. And with that new circuit, we can have ourselves a battery here. And we're going to make that 1 volt. And then we are going to put that resistor in, and just keep it as 1 kilo ohm. Okay. And we'll drop a ground on there. Okay. So I can pull this down, I can pull this down. Now it looks like a pretty circuit. So now we would just select, you know, where we want to measure. And I just want to measure across the battery, and so you see that the voltage across the battery is just 1 volt. So this is how we would measure it on our oscilloscope. All right? So that's the first setup, or the first portion to this. Should be question number 1 and question or procedural number 1 and procedural